carefully, my words are about to unfold. Concerning the lady I've seen but I never can hold. I can see by your smile, take a long while. The words that come through, I see that they're true. For she reminds me of you. Don't misunderstand me, it's not always easy to say. The words in your head and your heart that you just can't explain. I can see clearly your face in the sky, moon's in your eye, you're passing me by. Well, tell me the reason why. I can see clearly your face in the sky, the moon's in your eye, you're passing me by.
this was epic, musically epic, great, absolutely phenomenal from CAMEL. Yeah, it's about his fantasy lady or lady fantasy as he's worded it in an inverted way. But it's not about all that, it's not about the lines of the song, it's about the music. It definitely takes you on a journey, it's definitely makes you start dreaming yourself. I remember when I was a little child, I used to also imagine that I always had a girl next to me whenever I was alone, because I used to have, even though I lived in a joint family system in those days, my early childhood before I was 12 years old I'm talking about, I spent a lot of my time alone on the terrace of our large building. So when I would be alone on the terrace, I would imagine that I actually had a girl, a friend who was a girl, my best friend, always next to me. And she was like my lady fantasy, my own little way, or that time a girl fantasy. So we all had those things. I think most guys, at least I know, if we talk about it, we all have this vision of a dream girl or dream lady, and we tend to think or dream about this person for hours in different scenarios, different moments. We tend to dream about it, and I'm not sure if it's the same for girls and women, if they also have this fantasy, men and guys. But this dream girl, dream lady is definitely a thing, and it was more so when I was a child in the late 70s and early 80s. When I was a child, it was more so that very common. You spoke to someone else at school, even they had something similar going on, if they were open to admitting it, of course. Because in today's world, you may sound crazy because people say we have social media, we have so many things, virtual reality, etc., etc. You don't really need to have a dream girl or a dream friend or somebody by your side night and day when you imagine that when you're alone. Those days I would not feel lonely, and even later actually I would not feel lonely. But those days I don't think most of us would feel lonely because we had this wild imagination where we would go on scenic journeys with this best friend of ours or a girlfriend or boy if it was a male mate of ours. So yeah, this song definitely connects with a lot of people, especially me, because yeah, definitely, especially in my youth, my early childhood and my youth as well, teenage years and youth, definitely I too imagine things like that. Sometimes it would be a movie actress, a Hollywood movie star, a starlet, and then or it could be a musician also, female musician or singer, who would be my lady fantasy. Sometimes it would be my next door neighbor. So who knows? But it definitely, we all had those moments, especially the guys. So this song will resonate well with all of us, especially in the 70s, those who were born in the 70s, 80s, and maybe early part of the 90s. I think after that, once the internet came, things changed, and somehow, or maybe we grew older, I grew older, our generation grew older, so we stopped fantasizing, so to speak.
Yeah, that's interesting to listen. Yeah, that's his imagination. Kind of coincides with the imagination of CAMEL, who created the song Lady Fantasy. Although there were 3 levels in it, that was Encounters, Smiles for You and Lady Fantasy. I like how the music transitions from one place to another. I don't know whether it was going as per what they had decided, but there were different levels in the music. Sometimes it was spacey with the guitar playing with a kind of primary tune. Sometimes it was all about the vocals and it was all about you just being there and enjoying that moment altogether, maybe giving a space to the listener to also imagine along with them. So they spaced it out, they paced the song pretty well, so that every listener is also feeling or actually being in the same moment as the band was or wanted to, envisioned it to be. And I like that way of creating it. When you sit and listen to an entire album, I like reacting to albums because you get an idea about the band, the thought process, what each artist in the band contributes, when you listen to the album. One song you will listen second, third, fourth, fifth, and by the end of it, you know that everyone's what their talents are, what their skills are, what they bring forth, and how do they collaborate. When you only listen to one song here and there, it's very hard for you to actually know what as a band they actually are capable of. I may have mixed them up with I think CAMEL, Kingston Wall, or something like that, but that happens because of them having similar thumbnails kind of thing as a band, mainly. But this album has been a phenomenal. Just listening to it in one sitting gives you a better understanding of what their work is, what their catalog is like, and everything. As a writer, what they think, what they are, the way they write, the way they actually execute their work, and the way they play music. This gives you a better understanding, and I have more respect for them after listening to this album than it was before. I understand their work, I understand how and what they wanted to do, and it has come out the way most probably they may have wanted it, because it has been effective on both of us. Savio has been thinking about certain good memories listening to songs from this, and what else do you want from your listener or somebody who's listening to your music? You want them to personally connect with the song, and that has happened through this song, Lady Fantasy.
Being an honest reactor on YouTube is quite challenging and difficult at times, because it's easier to just give a standard good reaction, in quotes, good reaction to all music you listen to. But in real life, it's not that easy. My taste in music are completely different from Kirti's, in all honesty. Of course, we definitely like many of the times when you watch our reaction videos, you can't really tell that our musical taste might be quite different in reality. But it's also challenging, because sometimes we as a reaction channel, since we are unlike any other reaction channel on the planet, and have been from the start, is because we listen to all genres. It's not that we only listen to one genre, rock, and in rock also there may be progressive rock and so many other kinds of rock. But we listen to all genres. You will find us listening to Latin music at times. You may find us listening to Indian music at times, classical music. You may find us listening to French regional music at times. You may find us listening to, of course, different kinds of rock music and different decades. Music from different decades. You may find us listening to pop music and music from the 50s and 60s, etc. And even the 40s at times. So it's quite challenging to give honest reaction, because I can't like everything. People say that, how can you not like this? It's something that I've received more than anybody else possibly in the history of YouTube. That how can you not like this? I can't, I don't. Because my taste in music, my taste in a song also, the kind of topics taken up when songs have lyrics are different. Now here it resonated with me. It's about Lady Fantasy. I completely resonated with it, and most guys do. Young guys especially, they will resonate exactly with what's going on here, and they will have their own visions when they listen to the music in their own free time. But something else may come up and I may not like anything about it. It may be a very ridiculous, dirty fantasy of CAMEL or any other artist, and I may say, even though the music is good, I don't like what they're sharing in the lyrics. So that may happen, and I'm honest enough to admit it, but someone out there, or a lot of people out there in the fan base, will say, how can you not like this? There was once a song of a ship sinking and people died. 24 odd people died. And I didn't like it, because it didn't make sense to me. It sounded so shallow. The way the person was singing was drab and boring. It really didn't give me any emotions to feel like crying or what was happening in the words of the song. I found it boring, to say the least. But everyone out there, or at least those who watch the video, how can you not like this song? It's about a real thing. It may be about a real thing, but I didn't feel it at all. That's how it was for me. So when we listened to this album, today for me, this was a great listen. It was one of the best possibly listens for me, but maybe my reactions may not show it, because I have to kind of balance it out, in the sense that I have to be honest, but at the same time I have to go back to all those reaction videos that come into my mind where I may have heard something similar, but for whatever reason I may not have liked it that much as I liked it today. So today I absolutely love the music. The lyrics were okay whenever it came, just 2 songs which had lyrics out of 7 or 8 that we heard on this album Mirage in 1974, created in 1974. And you're with us in 2025 today in this recording studio of Cafe Noma. But definitely it's a balancing act. And not many people appreciate that this job is that challenging and difficult. So for all of them who think it's not that challenging or difficult, do what we do. We definitely need more diversity as far as music reactions are concerned. It's a dying culture, it's a dying lifestyle, it's a dying job on this platform or any other platform on the internet or anywhere else. So definitely we need more reactors like us who are diverse, who are open to listening to music, and at the same time being true to their ethics, to their culture, and admitting whether they like something or not, whether it's in the lyrics or music. Definitely do that, and then you can call a spade, or you'll keep living in a dream world where you call a spade a rose just like Donald Trump does, and put tariffs on it too, because it looks like a rose for him.
It is. It's a simple thing. If you keep it simple, I think you do well, and if you don't, you do better. So I don't know which one you would want to do. For music reactors, it is very easy to go by the flow, and you know what people want to listen, and just repeat that in your video. So you don't need to work very hard. You just have to repeat what people want to listen to, because from the comments and from the request you get to know, okay, this is what is in the buzz, and you have to listen to it, and you have to go gaga over it, and you have to dance maybe along with it, and go with the mood of the people, and it sounds amazing. But if you are honest to yourself, and if you just say things that are honest, it may not settle well with people, but in the long run it definitely works, because it's not always about going with the flow and just making people happy in what they want to listen to, but it is your reaction and your reaction channel. If it was supposed to be 1,000 people's reaction channel, all of those 1,000 people should be included, that who says what. But they aren't. It's supposed to be your reaction and your reaction channel, and it's you who would be saying whether you like it or not what you are hearing from others. It has been very clear distinction for us that people may love it, but I'm listening to it and I found something not right about it or something not good about it, and that's how simple we can.
And just to add to what we've been talking about, once again there may be a couple of people or more on this reaction video, on this set of videos, say, why are you talking about all this on a CAMEL Mirage album reaction? That's what we do. That's how honest we are. We are very honest, we are very simple, and we stick to the basics. We are as real as you can get. If you don't speak like us, there's something wrong with you. There's something unreal about it and abnormal about your reaction videos. Because when you listen to music, you may end up talking about different things. Because that's human. That's the difference between a human being and a wild animal. A human being can create fire. A wild animal, a leopard, can't get down on his fours and create fire. That's the difference between a wild animal and a human being. And that's the difference between us on Enoma and everyone else in the history of the modern world. As simple as that.